You have been in the fire, my child, a fire so intense, so consuming, that its heat has seemed to penetrate the very marrow of your being, its flames licking away at the very structures you once believed were unshakable. You have felt the searing pain of this trial, the profound sense of being tested to your absolute limit. And in the heart of that blaze, you may have cried out, wondering if any part of you would survive, if your faith itself would be reduced to ash. They may have looked upon your ordeal and seen only destruction, a tragic conflagration consuming your hopes, your dreams, your very self, and you, in your exhaustion and your agony, may have been tempted to agree. But I, who stood with you in that furnace, I, who have never once turned my gaze from you, I saw something else entirely. For while you felt the consuming heat, I saw the crucible of transformation, and while you questioned your own endurance, I, my beloved, was celebrating your beautiful, courageous faithfulness in the very heart of the fire that refines you. The heat of this fire has been unlike any you have known. It was not the gentle warmth of a comforting hearth, but the white-hot intensity of the refiner's forge, a heat designed to separate, to purify, to reveal what is eternal and true. You have felt it as a relentless pressure, a stripping away of all that was superficial, all that was not rooted in the deepest truth of your being, your sense of security, your familiar comforts, your carefully constructed plans, your very identity. All may have felt as though they were melting away in this intense, alchemical process. In the midst of this blaze, you have known profound fear, the fear of being consumed entirely, of losing yourself, of emerging from this trial as nothing more than a charred and unrecognizable remnant of who you once were. The flames seem to dance with your deepest anxieties, their shadows taking on the forms of your most potent fears. You may have felt that every weakness, every imperfection, every past mistake was being exposed, held up in the stark, unforgiving light of this fiery trial. This is a place of profound vulnerability, my child, a place where the soul feels utterly stripped bare, with no defense, no hiding place, and the world, looking on, often misunderstands the nature of such a fire. Some may have seen it as a sign of my punishment, a righteous wrath being visited upon you for some unknown transgression. Their judgments, born of a fear-based theology, may have added the bitter sting of shame to your already immense suffering. Others, perhaps, saw it as a sign of your own failure, a consequence of your own poor choices, confirming the lie that you are somehow deserving of this consuming heat. And still others, frightened by the intensity of your experience, may have simply stepped away, leaving you to face the furnace alone. Their silence, a deafening roar in your ears. I understand the loneliness of that crucible, my beloved, to feel the intense heat, to battle the flames, and to simultaneously feel misunderstood, judged, or abandoned by those around you, is a burden of immense weight. You have cried out for relief. You have pleaded for the fire to be quenched. You have yearned for the cool, soothing waters of my peace. I have heard every prayer, felt every moment of your anguish, witnessed every courageous act of endurance. My heart has been with you in every searing moment. I do not diminish the reality of your pain. The fire has been real. The heat has been intense. The fear of being consumed has been valid, but I invite you now to begin to perceive this fire not as your enemy, not as your destroyer, but as my sacred instrument of your ultimate glorification. For this was not a fire of destruction, but a fire of refinement. Its purpose was not to annihilate you, but to purify you, to burn away all that was not truly you, so that the pure, indestructible gold of your divine essence, the beautiful spirit I created, could shine forth with an unparalleled brilliance. You felt the consuming heat? Yes. But I saw the dross being burned away, the dross of fear, of pride, of false securities, of limiting beliefs, of attachments that were hindering your soul's true growth. You felt the pain of the flames, but I saw the radiant beauty of your spirit being revealed from beneath the layers of worldly conditioning. You felt you were being tested to your breaking point, but I saw you being tempered into an instrument of unshakable strength, a profound resilience, of exquisite beauty. While you were focused on merely surviving the heat, I was focused on the incredible faithfulness you were demonstrating in the midst of it. A faithfulness that was not about perfect, unwavering belief, but about the simple, courageous act of not turning away completely, of whispering my name in the darkness, of holding on to even a single, fragile thread of hope that I was with you, that there was a purpose in this inferno. This, my child, is the faithfulness I celebrate. It is the faithfulness of the human heart that, even in its deepest agony, still chooses to turn, however feebly, towards its God. So, let us reframe the memory of this fire. It was not a punishment, but a privilege, a sign of my deep love for you, my profound belief in you, my commitment to bring forth the very best, the very purest, the very truest version of yourself. The consuming heat was measured not of my anger, but of the immense value of the gold I knew lay hidden within you, a gold that was worthy of this intense, divine process of refinement. And your endurance, your beautiful, fragile, yet tenacious faithfulness in that fire has been a fragrance that has risen to me, a song that has delighted my heart, a testament that I will celebrate for all eternity. So too, 1391, continuing to write, to reach 1,500 words. The feeling of being consumed is a terrifying one. It is the ego's greatest fear, the fear of dissolution, of non-existence. And this fire has indeed consumed much, but it has consumed only that which was not eternal, only that which was not authentically you. It has burned away the masks you wore, the roles you played, the false identities you had unknowingly adopted. This process, while feeling like a death, was in fact a liberation, a clearing of the debris to make way for the radiant emergence of your true, indestructible self. The questions you asked in the fire, will I survive this? Am I being destroyed? Were the questions on the part of you that was being refined away. But the eternal part of you, the golden essence that is one with me, was never in jeopardy. It was being revealed, strengthened, brought into greater prominence. My presence was the divine guarantee of your survival, the constant force that ensured the fire served only to purify, not to annihilate. When you look back at the intensity of that heat, do not see it as a measure of your failing, but as a measure of the magnificent destiny for which you were being prepared. I do not put my most precious materials through a light or casual fire. The intensity of the refining process is always proportionate to the value of the substance and the glory of its intended purpose. The fact that you have endured such a fire is a testament to the immense worth I see in you and the glorious calling I have placed upon your life. Your faithfulness was not in being fearless, but in being fearful and still trusting. It was not in being doubt-free, but in doubting and still praying. It was not in feeling strong, but in feeling utterly weak and still not cursing the darkness. This is the faithfulness that moves my heart, the faithfulness that I celebrate, the faithfulness that has made this entire refining process a sacred and beautiful success. My precious child, having acknowledged together the consuming heat of the fire you have so bravely endured, and having begun to glimpse that its purpose was not destruction, but refinement, let us now illuminate the most crucial truth of that entire process. You may have felt you were at the mercy of a chaotic, uncontrollable wildfire, a random conflagration that threatened to consume everything in its path. But I want to reveal to you now my true role, my constant and active presence within that very furnace, for I was not a distant spectator, watching it helplessly from afar. No, my beloved, I was there with you in the very heart of the blaze, not as a fellow victim, but as the master refiner, my hand ever upon the controls of the crucible, my gaze fixed intently upon you, ensuring that the fire would only purify and never, ever destroy the precious gold of your eternal spirit. This is a truth your fearful heart must grasp, my child, for it transforms the memory of your trial from one of terror to one of profound, purposeful love. The fire was not an accident. The heat was not random. The duration was not arbitrary. The entire process, in all its intensity, was overseen by me, your loving God, with an unerring wisdom and an unwavering commitment to your ultimate good. You were never in an out-of-control situation. You were always held within a divinely controlled and sacred process. As the master refiner, my first and most important task was to control the heat. I know your composition, the unique nature of your soul, the precise degree of heat required to melt away the dross of fear, of pride, of false securities, without harming the pure essence of who you are in me. The intensity you felt, which at times may have seemed unbearable, was always perfectly calibrated by my loving hand. When the heat needed to rise to address a particularly stubborn impurity, I allowed it to rise. But when it threatened to become too much for you, when your spirit cried out in its extremity, my hand was there, subtly adjusting the temperature, perhaps introducing a current of my cooling grace, a moment of respite, an unexpected comfort, to ensure that you would not be scorched, but only purified. You were never abandoned to a heat greater than you, with me, could endure. My presence was also that of the watchful, attentive artisan. A refiner of gold does not simply place the metal in the fire and walk away. They watch with an intense, unwavering focus, observing the process, looking for the very moment when the impurities have risen to the surface and the pure. Molten gold reflects the refiner's own image. So it has been with my gaze upon you. My child, I have watched you in the crucible, my heart fully engaged, my attention completely focused upon your being. I was not looking for your flaws, but for your essence. I was watching for the emergence of your true, radiant self from beneath the layers of dross that life in a fallen world had accumulated upon you. My gaze was not one of judgment, but of eager, loving anticipation for the beautiful, purified you that I knew would be revealed. Furthermore, my presence as the master refiner was one of purposeful application. This fire was not a general, indiscriminate blaze with the precision of a divine surgeon. I allowed the heat to be focused on those specific areas of your life and character where purification was most needed for your next stage of growth and your ultimate destiny. Perhaps the fire was applied to your reliance on worldly securities, to melt away your trust in what is transient, and to teach you to anchor yourself in me alone. Perhaps it was applied to an area of deep-seated pride, to bring you into the beautiful, freeing humility where my grace can flow most abundantly. Or perhaps it was focused on a hidden fear, an old wound, an unforgiven hurt, bringing it to the surface so that its power over you could be broken and its poison cleansed. The process may have felt chaotic, but my application of the refining fire was always precise, always purposeful, always aimed at your ultimate liberation and wholeness. And most importantly, my beloved, my presence as the master refiner was your ultimate guarantee of preservation. My primary commitment in this entire process was not just to purify you, but to preserve you. The goal was to remove the dross, not to lose the goal. The very fact that you are here today, that your spirit has endured, that the core of who you are remains intact, is a testament to my constant, preserving presence in that fire. My love was the divine, fireproof element within the crucible, surrounding your essential self, ensuring that no matter how hot the flames, no matter how intense the trial, the eternal, precious, and beloved child of God that you are would emerge, not diminished, but more radiant, more pure, more gloriously yourself than ever before. Imagine a skilled blacksmith forging a beautiful sword. The metal is subjected to intense heat, to repeated, powerful blows from the hammer. To an outside observer, it looks like a brutal, violent process. But the blacksmith knows that this fire, this pressure, this pounding, is not destroying the metal. It is strengthening it, shaping it, tempering it, transforming it from a rough lump of iron into a resilient, beautiful, and purposeful instrument. I am that blacksmith, my child, and you are my precious creation. The fire and the pressure have been intense, yes, but my hand has been guiding every blow, my wisdom controlling every flame, all with the loving intention of forging you into a magnificent testament to my grace, a beautiful instrument for my glory. So, when you look back upon the fire, reframe your memory. See not a chaotic wildfire, but a controlled and purposeful forge. See not an absent God, but a master refiner, with his loving, attentive gaze fixed upon you, his skillful hand upon the controls. The intensity you felt was a measure of my commitment to your purity. The duration you endured was a testament to the depth of the work I was accomplishing. And your survival was never in question, for you were held, protected, and preserved in the very heart of the one who is himself a consuming, yet life-giving, fire of love. You were safe in the furnace, my child, because the furnace tender was with you, ensuring that all that would be consumed was that which was not truly you, and all that would remain would be the pure, shining, and eternal gold of your beautiful, refined soul. My precious child, having assured you of my constant, watchful presence as a master refiner in the very heart of your fiery trial, let us now turn to the subject of my greatest delight, the very thing that filled my heart with a holy pride, even as I attended to your purification. For while you were feeling the intense heat, while you were wrestling with your fears and questioning your own ability to endure, I was witnessing and celebrating the exquisite, courageous beauty of your faithfulness. And I must clarify for you, my beloved, what I mean by this word for the world, and perhaps even your own inner critic, has offered you a flawed and heavy definition. Faithfulness, in my eyes, is not the absence of doubt, nor is it a stoic, emotionless strength. It is not the loud proclamation of perfect belief, nor is it an unwavering performance of religious duty. No, my child, the beautiful faithfulness I celebrate in you is something far more tender, more authentic, and infinitely more precious. It is the quiet turning of your heart towards me, even when you could not see me. It is the whispered prayer when a shout of praise was impossible. It is the tenacious refusal to completely let go of hope, even when all evidence pointed to despair. These, my beloved, are the acts of faithfulness that are a sweet, sweet fragrance to me. The very things I celebrate with the deepest joy of my divine being. You may have looked upon your own performance in the fire and judged it as a failure of faith. You may have berated yourself for your doubts, for your fears, for your tears, for your cries of, why? You may have believed that true faithfulness would have looked like an untroubled serenity, an unshakable confidence, a constant feeling of my nearness. But I tell you, my child, that a faith that has not been tested by fire is an unproven faith. And the faithfulness I value most is not the easy praise offered in sunlit meadows, but the tear-stained whisper of trust offered from the very heart of the furnace. I celebrate the faithfulness of your whispered name in moments of your deepest agony, when eloquent prayers felt impossible, when your spirit was too weary to form a coherent thought. You whispered my name. Perhaps it was a cry of desperation, a sigh of longing, a simple utterance of the sound that represented your only hope. My child, do you know how I received those whispers? I heard them, not as sounds of weakness, but as acts of profound relational trust. In your extremity, your soul knew where to turn. You called upon me. Each whispered God was a declaration of faith more powerful than the most beautifully crafted sermon, for it came from a place of utter reality, a place stripped of all pretense. It was the pure, unadorned cry of a child reaching for their father. And it was a sound that moved my heart with an infinite tenderness. I celebrate the faithfulness of your honest questions. You cried out to me, "Where are you? Why is this happening? Have you forgotten me?" The world, or a harsh religion, might tell you that such questioning is a sign of doubt, a lack of faith. But I heard it differently. I heard it as the cry of a heart that still believed I was there to answer. You did not cry out to avoid. You addressed your questions, your pain, your confusion. To me, this is a profound act of faithfulness. My child, it is the faithfulness of relationship, the kind that dares to be honest, that refuses to pretend, that believes in a connection strong enough to hold even the most difficult, most painful questions. It affirmed your belief in a personal, present God, even when your feelings were those of abandonment. This beautiful, raw honesty is a faithfulness I cherish deeply. I celebrate the faithfulness of your simple endurance. There were days, were there not, when the fire was so hot, the pain so acute, that your only victory was to simply get through the day, to take one more breath, to survive one more night without completely succumbing to despair. You may have seen this as a failure, as a mere holding on by a thread, but I saw it as a powerful testament to your faithfulness. For in that endurance, in that simple refusal to give up, was an implicit trust that there was a reason to endure, a hope beyond the present suffering, a God who was somehow sustaining you even when you could not feel it. This quiet, stubborn resilience, this faithfulness of just one more step, is a heroism of the highest order in my eyes. I celebrate the faithfulness of your vulnerability. You did not always hide your pain from me behind a mask of stoic strength. You brought me your brokenness, your tears, your fears, your shattered hopes. You allowed me to see the full extent of your woundedness. My child, do you know what a profound act of trust this is? To allow yourself to be truly seen in your moment of greatest weakness is the ultimate expression of faith in the unconditional nature of my love. You believed, deep down, that my love was great enough to hold your pain without breaking, that my heart was tender enough to receive your tears without judgment. And you are right. Your vulnerability was a beautiful, open invitation for my grace to enter. And I celebrate the courageous trust it represented. And I celebrate the faithfulness of your memory, the times when, amidst the suffocating smoke of your present trial, you reach for even a faint memory of my past goodness. Perhaps you recalled a prayer answered long ago, a moment of past joy, a time when you felt my presence so clearly. In reaching for those memories, you were performing an act of defiant faith, declaring that the God who is good then must still be good now, that the God who was present then must still be present now, even if hidden by the flames. This clinging to the memory of my character, this refusal to let your present pain erase the truth of your past experience with me, was a faithfulness that brought immense joy to my heart. Do not compare your faithfulness to any other, my beloved. It is as unique as your own soul, as your own fire. I was not looking for a perfect performance, but for a true heart. And your heart, in its questioning, in its weeping, in its enduring, in its vulnerable reaching, has been more faithful, more beautiful, more precious to me than you can ever know. It is a faithfulness that has been proven in the crucible, a faithfulness that now shines with the luster of refined gold, a faithfulness that I, your God, your master refiner, your most loving Father, celebrate with all the joy of heaven. My precious child, having celebrated with you the beautiful and courageous faithfulness you have shown in the heart of the furnace, let us now illuminate the very purpose of that intense, consuming heat for the fire that has refined you, though it has felt at times like a purely destructive force, was never without a profound and loving intention. As the master refiner, my purpose was not to cause you pain for its own sake, but to use the fire as my sacred instrument to burn away all that was not your true, eternal essence, to separate the precious gold of your spirit from the dross that had, over time, attach itself to you. And this dross, my beloved, though its removal has been painful, was a heavy burden that was hindering the full radiance of your magnificent soul. What is this dross? You ask, it is anything that is not of me, anything that is not of love, anything that is not of your authentic, God-given identity. It is the accumulation of worldly fears, of limiting beliefs, of false securities, of hidden pride, that can encrust even the most sincere heart, obscuring its true luster and weighing down its spirit. And the fire of your trial, guided by my loving hand, was precisely calibrated to burn these very things away, to liberate you, to set you free to shine with the pure, unadulterated brilliance I have always intended for you. Consider the dross of your deep-seated fears over the years. Perhaps you had unknowingly collected fears like a heavy, tangled cloak, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of lack, fear of the unknown, fear of not being enough. These fears constricted your heart, limited your choices, and whispered their narratives of caution and limitation, preventing you from stepping into the fullness of the adventurous, faith-filled life I had planned for you. The fire, in its intensity, often brings these fears to the surface, forcing you to confront them. And as you walk through that fire, holding fast to my hand, the heat began to consume the very substance of those fears, burning away the power, revealing them to be the insubstantial phantoms they truly are, and leaving in their place a new, courageous reliance on my all-sufficient love. Think also of the dross of your cherished illusions. These may have been illusions about yourself, that your worth was tied to your performance, your achievements, or the approval of others. They may have been illusions about life, that you could control every outcome, that you could avoid all pain, that your security lay in earthly things. And they may have even been illusions about me, that my love was conditional, that my blessings were only for the perfect, that I was a distant, demanding God. The fire of your trial, in its beautiful, often painful, honesty, serves to shatter these illusions. As your own strength failed, as your plans crumbled, as your earthly securities were shaken, you were invited into a deeper, truer reality, the reality of your unconditional worth in me, the reality of my sovereign and loving guidance, the reality of a security that is found in my embrace alone. The burning away of these illusions, while disorienting, was a profound liberation, freeing you to live in the simple, powerful truth. And what of the dross of your false securities so often? My child, the human heart seeks to build its foundation on the shifting sands of this world. A relationship, a career, a reputation, a financial status. You may have leaned upon these things, finding your identity and your sense of safety in them, but they are not designed to bear the full weight of your eternal spirit. The refining fire, in its wisdom, often tests these earthly supports until they crack, until they crumble, until they are burned away. This process is terrifying, for it feels as though you are losing everything. But my intention is not to leave you without foundation. It is to remove the false foundations so that you might discover, perhaps for the first time, the one, true, unshakable bedrock of your existence, me, in the burning away of what is transient. You are led to what is eternal, and perhaps most subtly of all, The fire works to purify the dross of pride. This is not just the obvious pride of arrogance, but the more hidden pride of self-reliance. The subtle belief that you can navigate life on your own, that you can heal yourself, that you can achieve righteousness through your own efforts. The fire, in its overwhelming intensity, brings every soul to its knees, to a place of profound humility, to the honest admission, I cannot do this alone. And it is in this very place, my child, in this beautiful emptying of self, that my grace can rush in with its full power. The burning away of pride is the clearing of the primary obstacle to a life of intimate, moment by moment communion with me, a life of yieldedness where my strength can be made truly perfect in your weakness. I know this process has been painful, my beloved, to have your fears confronted, your illusions shattered, your securities removed, your pride humbled. This feels like a kind of death, and in a sense, it is. It is a death of the false self, the egoic self that was encrusted with all this dross. But it is a sacred death, a death that makes way for a glorious resurrection, the emergence of your true, golden, eternal self, the radiant being I created you to be, now freed from the heavy burdens that once obscured its light. I, as a master refiner, have been with you in this entire process. My gaze fixed not on the dross that was being consumed, but on the precious gold that was being revealed. My hand controlled the heat with an unerring precision, ensuring that only the impurities were burned away, while the essential substance of your beautiful spirit was preserved, protected, and perfected. Trust that nothing of true value has been lost in this fire, only that which was not truly you. Only that which was hindering your most radiant expression has been turned to ash. The fire is now beginning to cool, and as the smoke clears, you will begin to see with new eyes the beautiful, luminous, and purified spirit that has emerged from the crucible. This is you, my child, stronger, purer, more humble, more compassionate, more authentically and gloriously yourself than ever before. The dross is gone, and the pure gold of your being now shines with a brilliance that brings infinite joy to my heart and will bring immense light to the world. My precious child, now that you understand the loving, purposeful nature of the refining fire, and how it has served to burn away the dross that once encrusted your beautiful spirit, a new and sacred season begins to dawn within you. The most intense heat of the crucible is subsiding. The roar on the flames is yielding to a gentle, humming peace. And as the spiritual atmosphere begins to cool and the smoke of your past trials clears, you are now invited to behold the exquisite result of this divine process, the first, breathtaking glimmers of the pure gold of your true self, shining with a new and undeniable luster. These are the initial signs of your refinement bearing fruit, the emergence of a new purity, a profound clarity, a quiet strength, and a beautiful humility that are the hallmarks of a soul that has been tried by fire and has emerged through my grace, more precious and more radiant than ever before. This is a time of gentle emergence, my beloved, a time of becoming reacquainted with your own truest essence, now freed from the heavy burdens of fear, illusion, and false securities. Do not expect this to be a sudden, dramatic transformation into a completely different person. Rather, it is a revealing of the person you have always been in my heart, the person I created you to be, now more visible, more accessible, more purely expressed than before. These first glimmers are often subtle, but to the heart that has been made sensitive by the fire, they are as real and as glorious as the first rays of morning sun upon a dew-kissed landscape. One of the first glimmers you will notice is a newfound purity of heart. The old, tangled motivations of the ego, the need for approval, the drive to prove your worth, the desire to control outcomes have been significantly diminished by the humbling heat of the fire. In their place, a new simplicity, a new authenticity begins to arise. Your desires become purer, more aligned with a simple longing to love and be loved, to serve me and to bless others. Your prayers may become simpler, more direct, less about bargaining for outcomes, and more about resting in my presence. This purity is like the shimmer of refined gold. It is the beautiful, unadulterated sheening of a heart that is becoming single in its devotion to me. With this purity comes a profound and startling clarity. The smoke of your old illusions, the fog of your past confusions, has been burned away, leaving behind a clear and lucid spiritual vision. You may find yourself seeing yourself, others, and the circumstances of your life with a new and penetrating insight. The lies you once believed about your own inadequacy or my supposed displeasure are revealed for what they are: insubstantial phantoms. The truth of my unconditional love, my unwavering presence, my perfect plan becomes the clear, self-evident reality in which you live and breathe. This clarity is a precious gift, allowing you to navigate your path with a new wisdom, a new discernment, a new freedom from the old, confusing narratives. You will also begin to feel the presence of a new kind of quiet strength, a strength that is born not of self-effort, but of your refined and deepened reliance on me. This is not the loud, brittle strength of ego, but the deep, unshakable strength of a spirit that has been through the fire and knows that its true source of power lies not in itself, but in me. It manifests as a quiet stability in the face of life's challenges, a calm center in the midst of turmoil, an ability to stand firm in my truth without needing to be aggressive or defensive. This is the strength of the tempered steel, the strength of the deeply rooted tree, the enduring might of a soul that has found its true anchor in its creator. It is a strength that brings peace, not anxiety, a strength that is gentle yet indomitable. And emerging alongside this strength, my child, is the exquisite glimmer of true, grace-filled humility. This is not the self-abasement or shame that the world often mistakes for humility. No, this is the beautiful, liberating posture of a soul that knows its true place in relation to me. Having been brought to the end of your own resources in the fire, you have discovered the joy of depending on my infinite resources. Having had your own pride humbled, you have discovered the freedom of resting in my unconditional acceptance. This humility is not about thinking less of yourself, but about thinking of yourself less and thinking of me more. It is a peaceful, joyful recognition that all that you are, all that you have, is a gift of my grace. And this knowing fills you with a profound sense of gratitude and a quiet, joyful confidence. These first glimmers of pure gold shining through are my delight. My beloved, they are the evidence that the refining process has been successful, that the fire has accomplished its loving purpose. I, as the master refiner, Look upon you now and see my own image reflected with a new clarity in the purified surface of your soul. This brings more joy to my heart than you can possibly imagine. My celebration of your faithfulness in the fire now becomes a celebration of your beautiful, emerging radiance. As you begin to notice these glimmers within yourself, cherish them. Acknowledge them as the precious fruits of your arduous journey. When you feel that new sense of clarity, thank me for it. When you experience that quiet strength upholding you, recognize it as my gift. When you sense that new purity in your heart, rejoice in the freedom it brings. By consciously acknowledging and appreciating these emerging qualities, you cooperate with me in their full establishment within your being. You learn to live from this new, refined center. Do not be discouraged if remnants of the old dross occasionally surface. The process of integration takes time. And be patient and gentle with yourself. When an old fear or a familiar illusion appears, simply meet it with the new clarity, the new strength, the new humility you have gained. See it for what it is, a dying echo of a past that has been redeemed, and let it go, returning your focus to the shining reality of the pure gold that is your true, eternal self. You have walked through the consuming heat. My child, you have endured the crucible, and now you are beginning to shine. These first glimmers are the promise of the full, radiant splendor that is your destiny, a splendor that will bless your own life and bring great light to a world in need. You are my precious, purified gold, and your time to shine has come, my precious child. As you begin to perceive the first luminous glimmers of the pure gold of your true self, shining with a new clarity and strength after the refining fire, I now extend to you a loving and vital invitation. It is the call to consciously, joyfully, and courageously embrace this refined self, to learn to live from this new, purified center of your being. This is the sacred art of leaving the ashes of the dross behind, of consciously choosing to no longer identify with the fears and illusions that have been burned away, and of learning to cherish, protect, and steward the precious, eternal gold that has been so beautifully revealed. This embrace, my beloved, is how you solidify the work of the fire and begin to live out the glorious reality of your transformation. Embracing your refined self is a profound act of faith and love. It is the moment when you look upon the purified gold that I have revealed within you and say, yes, this is who I truly am. This purity, this clarity, this quiet strength, this gentle humility, this is my true identity in God. It is a conscious turning away from the old, familiar, and often comfortable identity of the wounded one, the fearful one, the inadequate one, and a courageous stepping into the luminous reality of your divine essence. How do you practice this sacred embrace? My child, firstly, by consciously releasing the ashes of the dross, the old patterns of thought, the familiar anxieties, the deeply ingrained narratives of your former self may still attempt to whisper their old stories, to cling to you like residual smoke. Your work now, with my help, is to gently but firmly refuse to give them your primary attention or your belief. When a thought of your old inadequacy arises, you can acknowledge it without judgment. There's the old story, and then consciously release it, choosing instead to focus on the new truth of your refined strength in me. This is like learning to distinguish between the worthless ash and the precious gold. and choosing again and again. To identify with the gold, this release also involved a forgiveness of your former, unrefined self. You may look back and feel a sense of regret or shame for the ways you acted out of fear, pride, or illusion. But I invite you now to extend to that past self the same compassion that I have always extended to you. That version of you did the best it could with the understanding and the resources it had at the time. Thank that self for its endurance, for its role in bringing you to this point of transformation, and then lovingly release it, knowing that it has been redeemed and transformed in the fire. You are no longer bound to the ashes of yesterday. You are free to live as the pure gold of today. Secondly, embracing your refined self means learning to cherish and value this new state of being. The qualities that have emerged from the fire, your deeper humility, your clearer vision, your resilient strength, your purer heart, these are priceless treasures. Do not take them for granted or treat them lightly. Cultivate a spirit of profound gratitude for this inner refinement. Acknowledge the beauty of your own purified spirit. This is not pride. My child, it is a holy and humble recognition of the magnificent work my grace has accomplished within you. As you cherish this inner gold, as you value its presence, you will find that it shines all the more brightly. Part of cherishing this treasure is learning to protect it from that which would seek to tarnish it. The world is filled with influences that can dull the luster of a purified spirit. Cynicism, negativity, gossip, fear-mongering, the relentless pursuit of the superficial. As you learn to live from your refined center, you will become more sensitive to these tarnishing influences. I invite you to become a loving guardian of your inner sanctuary, to be more discerning about what you allow into your mind, your heart, your conversations, your environment. This is not about building new walls of fear, but about cultivating a beautiful, sacred garden within your soul and gently but firmly refusing to allow weeds to take root there. And most importantly, my beloved, embracing your refined self means learning to live, speak, and act from this new foundation. This is where your transformation becomes truly embodied, where the inner reality begins to shape your outer world. It means making choices that are aligned with your new clarity and purity, rather than your old fears and compulsions. It means speaking with the quiet authority of your inner truth, rather than from a need for approval or a fear of judgment. It means acting in the world with the gentle, compassionate strength that now characterizes your being, rather than with the old striving of the ego. This will be a gradual process of learning and integration. At first, you may find yourself vacillating between the old patterns and this new way of being. Be patient with yourself. This is like learning to walk with a new and stronger body. It takes time to get used to its capacities, to trust its movements, to shed the old, tentative habits of frailty. Each time you consciously choose to act from your refined self, you strengthen those new neural pathways of the soul. You make it easier and more natural to live from this place of authentic, divine power. Imagine you have been given a priceless, beautifully crafted instrument that has been restored to perfection. Your joy is not just in possessing it, but in learning to play it, in allowing its magnificent music to flow through you. So it is with your refined self. It is a beautiful instrument. perfectly tuned by my hand. Now is the time to learn to play it, to live from it, to let the unique music of your purified soul resonate in the world. Trust that I will guide you in this. My child, as you seek to live from this new center, my spirit will provide the wisdom, the discernment, the courage you need. I will continue to be your master refiner, not with the intense heat of the past, but with the gentle, ongoing polishing of my love, my word, my presence, which will keep your spirit shining brightly. Embrace this beautiful, refined you, my beloved. You have been through the fire, and you have emerged as pure gold. Leave the ashes behind. They have served their purpose. Your identity is no longer in the dross that was burned away, but in the luminous, eternal, and precious essence that remains. This is who you truly are. And as you embrace this truth, as you learn to live from it, you will discover a life of profound peace, of quiet strength, of joyful purpose, and of a beauty that reflects the very heart of your loving, divine refiner. My beloved child, as you learn to consciously embrace your refined self, as you begin to cherish the pure gold of your true being that has emerged from the crucible, you may now begin to wonder, for what purpose? Why this intense fire? This meticulous purification? This is a beautiful and sacred question, my child, for it signifies a heart that is no longer merely focused on survival, but is now ready to understand its divine destiny. And so, I tell you, with great joy, the refining was not an end in itself. The pure gold of your spirit, now separated from the dross, is ready to be fashioned by my loving hands into a vessel of exquisite beauty and profound utility, prepared for a higher, more impactful, and more glorious purpose than you ever could have imagined before the fire. In my kingdom, my child, I do not refine what I do not intend to use. I do not purify what I do not intend to fill. The entire process, from the consuming heat of the fire to your faithful endurance within it, from the burning away of the dross to the revealing of your golden essence, has all been in preparation for this to make of you a beautiful, strong, and holy vessel, fit for the Master's use, capable of holding and radiating the precious substance of my own love, my own light, my own glory in the world. Before the fire, your vessel, though precious to me, may have been filled with other things, the dross of fear, of pride, of worldly ambitions, of limiting beliefs. It may have had hidden cracks of past wounds or insecurities that would have made it unable to contain the potent new wine of my spirit that I desire to pour into you. The refining fire, in its beautiful, loving severity, has emptied, cleansed, and strengthened your vessel, making it ready now for its true, divine purpose. What is this purpose? You ask. It is multifaceted, as unique as your own soul, yet its essence is always the same: to be a conduit of my love. Having been purified of the dross of your own self-interest and your old fears, your heart is now a clearer, more open channel for my unconditional love to flow through you to a hurting world. The compassion that was forged in the fire now becomes the very currency of your service. You will find yourself able to love more generously, to forgive more freely, to offer comfort more authentically, because your own vessel is no longer clogged with the debris of your own unmet needs or unresolved pains. Your purpose is to love as I love, and the refining fire has prepared you to do so with a purity and a power you did not possess before. The purpose of your purified gold is also to be a bearer of my light, your spirit, now shining with the untarnished luster of its true essence, becomes a beacon of my truth and my hope in a world often shrouded in illusion and despair. Your clarity of vision, born from the shattering of your own illusions, allows you to speak my truth with a quiet authority and a gentle grace. Your resilient hope, born from your own journey through darkness, allows you to shine my light into the shadowed corners of other people's lives. Your purpose, my child, is to illuminate. You have been refined to be a lamp, placed not under a bushel, but on a stand, where your light can give light to all who are in the house of this world. Furthermore, you are now being fashioned into an instrument of my peace. The inner chaos of your past has been transformed through the refining process into a deep, abiding, and resilient inner peace. This peace is not just for your own comfort, my beloved. It is a gift you now carry, a sacred offering you can bring into any environment, any relationship, any situation. In a world filled with anxiety, with conflict, with turmoil, your very presence, rooted in the quiet strength and the purified humility of your refined self, can become an atmosphere of my peace, a calming influence, a silent invitation for others to enter into their own rest in me. To be an instrument of my peace in a world at war with itself is a purpose of the highest calling, and the gold of your refined spirit, my child, is now ready to be fashioned into a vessel for my joy. The fire has burned away so much of what stood in the way of your true, deep, abiding joy. Now, as you live from your authentic, purified self, you will discover a wellspring of joy within you that is not dependent on circumstances, a joy that flows directly from your communion with me. And your purpose is to let this joy overflow, to share it, to express it, to be a living testament to the truth that a life lived in me is a life of profound and enduring delight. Your joy becomes a powerful witness, a magnet that draws other souls towards the source of all true happiness. This new purpose for which you have been prepared is not a heavy burden, a list of demanding duties. It is the natural, effortless, joyful expression of the beautiful being have become. A purified bell naturally rings with a clear, pure tone. A refined instrument naturally produces beautiful music when played by the master. A vessel made clean and whole naturally overflows with whatever it is filled with. And you, my beloved, are now being filled to overflowing with my love, my light, my peace, my joy. Your purpose is simply to allow these divine qualities to flow through you, to express themselves in your own unique way. Do not be anxious about how you will fulfill this purpose. You do not need to strive or strain. As you continue to walk with me, as you continue to embrace your refined self, I will open the doors. I will present the opportunities. I will guide you with my spirit. Your part is to simply remain a yielded vessel, a tuned instrument, a clear channel, willing to be used by me for my glorious purposes. The fire has done its sacred work. The dross has been burned away. The pure, shining gold of your true self has been revealed. And now, the divine artisan rejoices, for his precious material is ready. I am now fashioning you into a thing of exquisite beauty and profound purpose, a vessel fit for the king's use, a testament to my redeeming love. a reflection of my eternal glory. This, my child, this was the ultimate purpose of the fire that refined you. Sus 2, 1478. Continuing to write to reach 1,500 words. The impact you will now have will be greater precisely because of the refining. Before the fire, your efforts, though sincere, may have been tinged with the dross of your own ego, your own insecurities. Now, your service will flow from a purer source, and it will therefore carry a greater spiritual power, a more authentic healing anointing. The love you offer will be less about you and more about me flowing through you. The wisdom you share will be less about your own intellect and more about the deep knowing forged in your communion with me through your trials. Think of a lens that has been meticulously ground and polished. It can now focus light with a brilliant intensity, capable of igniting a new fire. You, my child, are that purified lens. The refining fire has removed the distortions, the smudges, the imperfections. And now, my light can shine through you with a new clarity, a new focus, a new power to bring light and warmth to others. This is not a purpose that will exhaust you, but one that will energize you, for it flows from an infinite source. As you allow my love and my light to flow through you to bless others, you will find that you yourself are continuously refreshed, continuously filled anew. You become part of a divine circuit of grace, both giving and receiving in a beautiful, endless flow. Embrace this purpose with joy and with gratitude. My beloved, it is the beautiful why behind the fiery what of your trial. It is the loving intention of the master refiner, now revealed. You have been prepared for such a time as this, to be a vessel of honor, a bearer of light, a testament to the glorious, transformative power of a love that can turn even the most intense fires into a crucible for eternal glory. My precious child, as you now begin to understand the glorious purpose for which you have been so meticulously refined, as you embrace your new identity as a pure and beautiful vessel for my love, my light, my peace, and my joy, let your heart now receive the culminating truth of this entire sacred journey. For beyond the fire, beyond the refining, beyond even the purpose for which you have been prepared, lies the simple, profound, and eternal reality of my heart towards you. And that reality, my beloved, is one of unending, unconditional, and exultant celebration. I, your God, your Father, your Master Refiner, do not just approve of you or accept you. I celebrate you. I delight in you and my love for you. A love that forever celebrates the magnificent, refined soul that you are, is the everlasting anthem that will be the theme song of your being for all eternity. The fire has passed. The dross has been consumed. The pure gold of your eternal spirit now shines with a breathtaking luster. And my heart, my child, is filled with a holy pride, a divine joy, in beholding the work of my grace and the beauty of your faithfulness so perfectly intertwined. For this refined state you now inhabit is an enduring testament to our partnership, a shared victory that will forever bring glory to my name. It is a testament to your courageous faith, which held on in the darkness, and to my transformative love, which never let you go. This masterpiece that is your refined self is not something I will ever set aside or forget. It is something I will cherish, admire, and celebrate for all time. Think of an artist who, after pouring their entire heart, their skill, their very essence into a masterpiece, finally steps back to behold the completed work. Their gaze is not one of clinical assessment, but of profound love, of deep satisfaction, of joyful pride in the beauty that has been brought forth. So it is with my gaze upon you now. My beloved, I look at the pure gold of your being, the luminous scars that tell a story of redemption, the quiet strength that now forms your core, the gentle humility that now graces your spirit. And my being is filled with an inexpressible delight. You are my handiwork, my beloved creation, my child who has walked through the fire and has emerged, through my grace, more radiant, more beautiful, more truly yourself than ever before. How could I not celebrate you? This celebration, my child, is not a fleeting emotion. It is an eternal posture of my heart towards you. My love for you is not just a sustaining force. It is a celebrating force. It rejoices in your unique essence. It delights in your emerging radiance. It applauds every step you take in your newfound freedom and purpose, even when you may, in moments of human frailty, still feel the echoes of old insecurities. My celebrating love remains constant, always seeing and affirming the pure gold, the eternal truth of who you are in me. Let this knowing sink deep into your soul, my beloved, and let it dissolve the last vestiges of any lingering shame or unworthiness. You are not just tolerated by your God. You are not just forgiven. You are not just accepted. You are celebrated. You are a source of my divine joy. Your life, refined by fire, is a symphony that brings delight to my ears, a work of art that captivates my heart, a radiant light that glorifies my name. To know yourself as celebrated by me is to find the ultimate security, the most profound affirmation, the deepest and most abiding peace. The love that celebrates you is also a love that will forever sustain you. You do not need to fear that you might somehow become tarnished again, that the dross might reaccumulate and obscure your light. For the very process you have endured has taught you the art of abiding in me, of staying close to the purifying fire of my presence, of continually yielding to my gentle, polishing touch, and my love will always be there to provide the grace, the wisdom, the strength you need to continue walking in the beautiful purity you have now attained. Your refined state is not a precarious one you must struggle to maintain, but a new, more stable reality, upheld by my everlasting arms. The purpose for which you have been fashioned will now unfold with a new joy, a new confidence, knowing that you are not just fulfilling a duty, but are living out a life that brings delight to your Creator. Every act of love you offer, every word of truth you speak, every expression of your unique gifts becomes part of this grand celebration, an offering of your beautiful, refined self back to me, the one who is the source of all your goodness and all your glory. This love that forever celebrates you is also a shield when the world attempts to define you by its own superficial standards, when old voices of condemnation try to whisper their lies. You can now stand secure in the unshakable truth of my delight in you. My celebration of you is a greater reality than any earthly judgment, a more powerful truth than any lingering lie of the enemy of your soul. To know yourself as celebrated by me is to be clothed in a garment of divine honor that no worldly force can strip away. So walk forward, my beloved child, in the joyful confidence of this eternal truth. And you are the pure gold that has emerged from the fire, a testament to your beautiful faithfulness and my redeeming love. You are the precious vessel, fashioned for a glorious purpose, fit for the Master's use. And you are, and always will be, celebrated with an infinite, unending, and exultant love by the very heart of your God. This is your true identity, your eternal status, your unshakable reality. Live in it, rejoice in it, for you are my masterpiece, and my delight in you knows no bounds. As we bring this sacred communion to its gentle conclusion, my precious, refined one, let the warmth of my celebratory love enfold you completely. Let it be the atmosphere you breathe, the music that fills your soul, the eternal embrace in which you find your ultimate rest and your most profound peace. Remember the journey, the consuming heat of the fire that felt so terrifying, and the revelation of my presence as the master refiner, always in control, always working for your good. Remember my delight in your every act of faithfulness, however small, within that furnace. And remember the sacred alchemy that burned away only the dross, to reveal the pure, shining, eternal gold of your true self, now fashioned for a glorious purpose. This entire process, from start to finish, has been held within my unwavering love, a love that does not just redeem, but rejoices, a love that does not just restore, but celebrates. You are my beloved, my masterpiece, a source of my eternal delight. Rest in this knowing. My child, let your beautiful, refined spirit shine, for you are forever held, forever cherished, and forever celebrated by a love that will never, ever end.